just don't, because of war, maybe.
Yeah, like
Like
all
if
the
somebody
stuff that got
threw-
lost in from the Library of Alexandria. Like,
Who the fuck? No, that's what I'm saying. Like anything
Yeah.
can happen, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like
what's going on? This is our 8th episode of the Night Owl podcast.
it's early. Early night owls.
Early Night Owls.
Yeah.
There's still a bit of twilight outside, actually.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while now,
Yep.
which would be a good thing if it would just stop raining so much.
Yeah. So today, I want to go in deep, bro.
Deep in
Deep in just philosophical kind of shit. Deep.
philosophy? What kind of philosophy?
I mean, just
It's
not
horrible.
it necessarily has to be philosophy, but just deep into, deep questions and things like that. Because just what I've been thinking about a lot the past couple of days.
What's been on your mind?
Space. When you think about when people say, oh, there are hundreds of billions of galaxies out there, what does that mean to you?
Nothing.
It means nothing.
Nothing.
See, to me, it's so easy to say, right? And it breaks my fucking head just trying to even, come up with a concept of it. Because it's just, you can't, our minds are so small, or my imagination, it's so small, just trying to comprehend just how many galaxies there are out there, knowing that we will never be able to go to any of them, at least not in our lifetime, obviously.
Right.
Who knows from 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, if we're even still around, if we're populated Mars or whatever, I don't know. But it's just it's so hard to try to understand just what that means. And we just throw these numbers out there so easily. You know what I'm saying?
And that makes you feel
Small.
But that makes you think of what exactly?
It makes me think, it makes me feel small. And second of all,
As in in the sense of meaning, or like
in the sense of everything, I don't know if you ever saw the picture that, I think it was Voyager 1 or 2, whichever one, kind of was leaving our solar system. They turned it around and they took a picture, and you can make out this little blue dot on one of the pixels,
mm-hmm.
and that's Earth,
Mm.
right? And I forget I don't remember who said it, but someone said that was like, every person that has ever lived, every war that has ever been fought, every person every feeling you felt, everything, it's in that tiny little blue dot on that picture.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
So just that kind of thing of, there are these huge objects out there just floating in space. We're not floating, obviously. They're going, they have an orbit around the sun. But they're just out there. They're just there. It makes you wonder, like, is there a meaning to them? They're just these things that are just there, so far away from us, and they are just there.
They're very much I would say a part of us. If anything, if any little piece stops working the way it's supposed to work, we wouldn't be here anymore. I don't feel.
But what piece? What are you talking about?
Just the stabilization of it.
Like an orbit?
Orbit, but just the way it came about. In for example, in the way the distance the Earth is from the sun, and how perfectly it is close enough, I guess, for us not to freeze to death, far enough for us not to burn to death, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
if that ever changed, we would just cease to exist.
So that kind of like in that Goldilocks zone, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I get that, but I also think about, it's just, okay, was there an actual meaning of why the Earth is at that exact distance, or is just a circumstance of where these, accumulations of rock and stardust and all these things that turned into a planet,
Mm-hmm.
and it just so happened to be at a certain distance where eventually, life could exist.
Right.
And then, two planets with, no, not two planets with, but like a certain other distance, another accumulation of dust and rocks and space dust and all these things accumulated, made another planet, so on and so forth, right? But they happen to be in unhabitable zones, right?
Right.
So we think about, was there an actual design to that, or it's just what happened? Because now you see all these, you see in the news and stuff, and they say, oh, they found some planet that is in a habitable zone, and it's at a perfect distance, and it could support life. So then you ask the question, like, oh, well, then maybe, the distance from us to the sun is not that special.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. What do you think the meaning of it then is? Because I guess to each person it's a little different. Because there really isn't an answer. Not like a concrete. It's not like an exam where there's a right answer. I don't think anybody has it.
The meaning of what, like life, or the meaning of the universe?
Well,
or
you said if there was a design behind it, or if it was just coincidence.
Personally, I don't think there was any design to it. I think things just happen because it's, because of circumstance. It wasn't because there was an intelligent design behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think that we do have meaning. I think we ourselves need to give life meaning, and that's important because we have this one life, and it means something. It has to mean something to you, to your family, and things like that. But saying that it has a meaning beyond myself, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, because going back to what you said, it makes you feel small. Just like, does it make you feel like insignificant?
Yeah, you think about just how old the universe is, right? The accepted age, and a lot of people are going to argue against this, right? That the universe is 14.7 or 8 billion years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the scheme of things, we're not even a blink of an eye in terms of universe time.
Right.
So if you compare it to that, it is insignificant. It means nothing.
Right.
Right? But to you, your own life, to me, to anyone, it means something.
Have you watched this cartoon show called Invincible on Amazon?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, I
No.
definitely recommend it. It's so violent, based on like comics.
Oh, I heard about it though. Yeah. Ivan was telling me about it. That I should watch it.
So one of the things that, because this, just imagine it was like a Superman kind of guy, and he was trying to teach his son that like, they get to live forever, not forever, but for centuries. Like they grow old, at a such. I guess the older they get, the younger they. I forget what it is. Basically, they stop aging at 30 and they just live for a super long time.
Yeah.
And they're living on Earth. And so he's trying to tell his son, like, hey, everything around you is going to be meaningless. Everybody here is meaningless. In 100 years, they will all be dead. In 200 years, 300 years, 400 years, you'll still be alive. Everybody else is going to be dead. And because the mom is human, so the kid asks, like, well, what do you think of mom? Like, and this dude's like, well, she's kind of like a pet. Because pets don't live as long as we do.
Yeah. Maybe 15 years would be kind of like
exactly
that'd be a long life for certain pets, obviously.
Yeah. So it's like, if you could live that long while everybody else can't, is there like, I mean, it's a good point. Like, what is the meaning? Like, there's just no significance to it because you get to live and watch everybody die.
Yeah.
All your friends, all your loved ones, and you get to repeat that. It's no wonder that you would
pretty shitty life, I think.
Disengaged.
Yeah. If you're the only one that happens to you, then yeah, that would suck. That would be a pretty shitty life. You would have to disconnect. It probably would happen after a certain amount of time that you've been hurt so much, you lose all your friends, all your family members, and so at some point you probably start connecting with other people to on a deeper level.
Right.
It'll be very superficial, probably. I don't know, but now if it's like more of a community, it might be different, because you're not just the only one anymore. Now it's your family members and your friends and everybody around you. So death probably would be a lot harder on you than someone you've known for 150 years and then they die.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So I was reading something or watching something, I don't remember, and they were talking about just how realistic it would be for someone to live a very, very long time, become immortal, right? So you have to think about a couple of things. First of all, if you become immortal, right, that means one of the first barriers for not dying would be you don't get any diseases, right? You don't age, or you age very slowly. But the diseases is the main one because that's usually what kills a lot of people when they're old. It's just some sort of disease, right? So if you get rid of all that, then you can live pretty much forever, given that you don't get into an accident, which is something that you can't prevent. Like if you would be immortal in a sense of if you are completely safe the whole time, you probably live forever. Yeah. But obviously life is not like that.
Your organs won't fail you, basically.
Fail you? Yeah. So if you throw yourself off a cliff, then you'll fucking die. Still. If you get hit by a car, you'll die. Someone shoots you, you'll die. Right? So we can't take those out. It's only the disease part.
Didn't they talk about radiation?
No, I don't remember. But even that can still kill you.
Yeah, after living some 100 years, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're getting like low, doses of radiation, you're probably still fine, unless you're getting like really, really big doses.
Well, supposedly, if you live long enough, you'll die of radiation poisoning.
Yeah. Well, see, that's one thing, and that's a horrible way to fucking die, if you ask me. But here's where this is where they went with it. Let's take away disease, because if you die of radiation poisoning, that's, you probably develop cancer somewhere, and you take that out. Right. So we're taking that out, and like I say, we're still leaving in all the other stuff: getting hit by a car, or whatever. They were saying that you rule out most normal deaths, and more gruesome, more painful, pretty much the worst ways to die statistically are higher to happen to you because you live longer.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So what he was saying, or what they were saying basically, was that the longer you live, the higher the chance that you're maybe get hit by, like, get run over by a bus,
Right.
or, you know, some horrible fucking death. The more likely that is to happen to you, because the longer you live, the bigger the chance,
Right.
right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So that's another thing to think about if you're trying to become immortal.
I am not. I am not. I didn't even want to get to 30, to be honest. Back in the day, I was like,
Really?
yeah, because like, it's just just the end of the road. You know, it's the same.
And look at you, you're doing your PhD at 30.
So stupid. It's just it's the concept of getting old. It just, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Me neither, man. It scares me. It scares the shit out of me.
Not to sound suicidal, because I'm not, but like, I think of all the people that did die young, and sure, that's like potential fucking lost. But at the same time, it's like, wow, that's it, I guess. I mean, I'll get, maybe, this being I don't die a horrible death, another 60 years, but at the same time, I'll end up in the same place, and I don't know. I feel like they're just resting in peace, and here I am struggling.
Well, here's the question, though. You know, and this is back to the initial question from earlier, is that, do you think that there is life or some sort of something after death? And knowing that you're going to die in some way gives you, you think, or you know that you're going to somehow, you know, live something else in heaven or whatever it is. And maybe that gives you comfort of saying, nah, you know, if I die at 30 or if I die at 40, it's whatever, because, you know, there's still something after all this. There's still something.
Mm.
You think that's what it is?
That sounds pretty sweet. I don't know, and it's a shame that nobody else knows either. It's one of those questions, you know, like, nobody knows. Only the dead people know.
Well, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question. It's
They
like, do they?
And they don't. They do and they don't.
I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced. I would say that, you know, once you die, you're dead. That's it. Lights out.
Right.
You know, you won't know you're dead. It's lights out. You just cease to exist. And that's why I think that,
Which doesn't sound like a bad idea, really.
well, you just wouldn't know. Like, you know, you don't know. You just cease to exist, and you never know that you lived. You won't know that you're dead. It's just you're gone, lights out.
Somebody was telling me that the other day, that they had some type of, like, they kind of had like this mild back of the head anxiety about any and every contribution they've made. Like, they're just not important, and they'll die, and people will forget in 200 years that they ever existed, kind of a thing.
Yeah, unless you do something super important.
But even those people, I think, 600 years from now, I don't think even those people will be remembered.
Well, I don't know. There's people from 600 years ago.
Like who?
You know,
Who? Name somebody.
I don't know.
Exactly, because you don't
Julius
remember.
Caesar? What is that motherfucker? From what year was that from?
He's got to be more recent.
No, 600 years.
What
I think
600
they're
years put us at.
No, bro. This is before Jesus, so this is over 2,000 years, right?
Jesus is technically
Jesus. If we're talking about time, let's base it off
biblical.
Jesus. That's 2,020 years or 21 years.
2020. Oh, okay, yeah, because is that what the calendar is based off of? I don't even know.
Well, yeah, the calendar we use right now, yeah, Gregorian calendar or something. So there's
2000.
names. There's names. Isaac Newton. Well, let's look it up. Let's see, Isaac Newton. When was he? Let's see, what era? What era do you think he's from? I think he's from the 1500s, I want to say.
Okay.
He's from the 1600s. 1642 to 1726.
Okay.
Okay, so that's getting there.
So let me propose this idea to you then, because as you say, only important people will be remembered.
I'm not saying important. I'm saying something that they did that was significant enough that people 600 years later are still going to be talking about.
Think about supposedly, and I forget where I heard this, but like the pharaoh that we have the most information from, supposedly wasn't all that important and or did important things. We only have the most information, complete information about this person, because he's the only person whose grave didn't get robbed.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like, all right, so 2,000 years from now, if let's say the Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos won't be remembered because of some random coincidence, like it's just like a sampling error. Whoever we have information on, however important, who knows how important it is, because only the people that lived at that time could tell you, but however important that person was, it's going to be remembered just kind of by chance sometimes. Who knows how important this particular pharaoh was? Who knows how important everybody around him was? Was he one of the most important people in the world at the time? Did he have the biggest contribution at the time? I have no idea. But we remember him by the fact that his grave didn't get robbed.
Yeah.
King Tut, I think. Yeah.
Tutankhamun, that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He was probably like a bum, dude. Probably not important at all back in the day. Well, somewhat. I guess he was rich.
I mean, he was a pharaoh, so he had some importance.
He was rich.
Yeah. I don't know. But like I said, there are certain people that we still talk about. If perfect example, like Isaac Newton, you know, that guy is, how long ago is that? Like almost 400 years, right?
Okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That one since he was born, it's obviously it's less than that because he died at 1720 something. So we're talking about 300 years. For as long as there's physics, everybody's going to talk about Isaac Newton because there's still things from Isaac Newton's laws that are going to be talked about for as long as there's physics. And right now, physics is the way that teaches us and shows us how the natural world works.
Mm-hmm.
So we will never forget that name. His name is in a unit of measurement, newtons.
Mm-hmm.
They're named after this guy. Faraday's. There's many more.
I don't know. I think those things come and go. I mean, I think there's monetary currencies that probably existed before and didn't.
But I'm talking about right now, in this sense, we're talking about physics. We're talking about things that show us how the world works. These are facts.
Well, I think of
laws.
All the Jewish people and the books and the history that got destroyed during the war. Like, who's going to... We can't recover that shit.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that has been lost. That's for sure.
Hella stuff, dude. There's a lot of probably important people that just don't... Because of war, maybe?
Yeah, like all the stuff that got lost from the Library of Alexandria. Like...
Who the fuck? No, that's what I'm saying. Like, anything can happen, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like a couple nuclear bombs around the world and people aren't going to remember shit.
Well, yeah. If that happens, yeah, that could happen. But I don't know. I think there's still things or people that are still going to be remembered even if all that happens.
I think everybody's going to get forgotten.
I doubt it.
I think so.
I mean, maybe people like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, or, unless they do something that somehow
Create a formula.
transforms how everyone exists, I think it's going to be really hard to forget those people. But for example, right now we're flying planes and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody still talks about the Wright brothers,
Mm.
the people that invented the airplane, or maybe they didn't invent it. There's other talks that other people had, whatever. Everybody remembers the Wright brothers as the first people that, were successful of building a plane.
I wonder if it is taught that way in other countries, or if it's just us that remember that.
Well, it should be. If they're the ones that came up with it, then yeah.
I-
For
I-
example,
I would
like
be interested to know.
what was it? The steam engine
Mhm.
that was from Great Britain or England or whatever. And whenever we learned that it was invented in England.
I don't think they teach that in North Korea.
Well, that's North Korea, bro.
I'm just saying.
They don't have internet.
And some
Yeah.
people grow up uneducated, so they don't know that either.
Yeah, but when you have an agenda of not teaching people or educating people of what's really going on, that's a whole different story.
And you don't think uneducated people create movements and
But I'm saying
belief systems?
that's a whole different story. I'm talking about that everyone else in the world, knows where the steam engine came from.
everybody who read that textbooks, yeah.
Well, yeah. Everyone who knows the history of it. But I'm saying like the history's there. Now, if you're someone that doesn't haven't read it or doesn't know it, then that's something else. You're just ignorant to the information that exists.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say, that it exists.
Well, what if the information's wrong though? Because what happened to that dude that invented electricity that copied the shit from somebody else? Blah blah blah. And the rightful person didn't even get credit, or whose name will.
But
never
we
be
remember the
remembered.
person who got credit for it.
Yeah, but it's inaccurate.
It's inaccurate, but I'm saying we still remember that person because that's who the credit was given to. So that's who we remember.
That's fucked up.
Like Edison, Thomas Edison, everybody gets taught in school that he invented the light bulb when he didn't really invent the light bulb. It was someone else. But he's always kind of like the one that gets credited for, right? And we're still talking about him. Electricity, all kinds of shit. Right? He gave us direct current, all that stuff. And someone that has kind of gotten forgot, it was like Nikola Tesla. And he gave us alternate current, basically the shit that we use nowadays. But no one really if you ask 100 people, right? If they know who Nikola Tesla or who Thomas Edison was, they're gonna most of the time they're gonna know just who Thomas Edison is and not Nikola Tesla. I mean, the guy died broke and crazy, and he gave us so much knowledge that we use today, to
Right.
this day. And I don't say most people, but a lot of people don't even know who the guy is. But everybody,
Yeah.
Thomas Edison, fuck, the light bulb.
Well, I guess that's going back to my point where the people that do and don't get remembered sometimes isn't accurate. Sometimes gets erased. Sometimes just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just things happen.
Yeah, things happen. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the credit that was given to a certain person, that's who we remember, because that's who the credit was given to. If it belonged to someone else, then that sucks. We'll never know. and that, like you said, that person has been forgotten, and we'll just never know. We'll just always know, Thomas Edison. But that's just what it is. So, but going back to what I was trying to tell you about the Wright brothers right now, because we're flying planes and all that shit, then we still remember everybody knows the Wright brothers. But another 100 years from now, maybe we're not flying around in airplanes. Maybe, it's something completely different. That maybe, unless you go to school and there's this tiny little chapter that's saying like, oh, back in the day, we used to fly airplanes, and whoever invented airplanes were these people, these two brothers called the Wright brothers, I can see where that knowledge could be very marginalized to a very, very small chapter in the textbook 100 years from now, 200 years from now.
Yeah.
Because we would be so advanced that, you know, even airplanes will look ancient.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and even now we think that, let's say Elon Musk starts a colony in Mars, and oh gosh, that changes the way we live. But like, I don't know, thousands of years from now, maybe that's a very small thing that gets forgotten.
Yeah. You know what really scares me is, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but imagine there's like a nuclear war.
Right.
And just think about the people that actually make the world, I won't say run the world, but make the world run.
Yeah.
Right? It's very few people.
Mm-hmm.
In how many people they exist in this world, almost 8 billion, is a very small number compared to that of the people that actually make the whole fucking thing run.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about engineers, scientists, all these people, right? So if we're ever in a nuclear war where, let's just say, all the engineers die and all the scientists die and all this shit, we're fucked, man. Because who, you know, and say everything is stored in a hard drive now, all information, all knowledge, all human knowledge. It's just like, are we able, how long is it going to take us to get back to where we were for all the survivors?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, I think that's kind of scary because, you know, these people are the ones that are making the world better. The advancing technology is very few people, and all of us, we're just fucking consumers.
Well, that's when the doomsday preppers are going to take over the world.
Yeah. Yeah, because think about it. You have this phone, right? Do you actually know how this,
Nope.
if you would take it up, if someone would give it to you in pieces and say, build it, would you know how to?
Nope.
Fuck no. We just know how to use it, right? And this thing just runs the world. It makes the world run. You don't think that's scary? I think that's scary as fuck.
Of going to that reality?
Yeah. I'm sure people would figure shit out at first, you know, to how to survive, and maybe someone who has a lot of intuition could find an old computer and maybe kind of rebuild it or whatever, but I'm talking about everything.
Well, I go back to the people that don't use any technology and how they live, because those people exist. And I mean, I don't. That's not a bad life either.
No. But I'm talking about more as a civilization of how we have advanced, and how all this advancement it has been provided to us by a small group of people.
Right.
To where if these people wouldn't exist, you know, the majority of humans, fucking ignorant and stupid, we wouldn't know what to do. You know, it's like, oh shit, the people that know everything about electricity, they're all dead. What are we going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to. Not that living off the grid and stuff like it's a bad life. It's not. But I'm just saying, like, how all of this advancement that we've had is attributed to such a small group of people.
Yeah, that's true. But no, but back to your question of does it scare me? I would say no, because I'd be okay with that life.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, these are just kind of the things I've been thinking about lately.
Space,
man. Space, time. That just
Holocaust.
The what?
And nuclear holocaust. Like how much of your day do you spend thinking about these things, dude?
Dude, you know, I'm working and I'm listening to podcasts and shit, and I'm just thinking all this shit up, and it's just like I'm just thinking about it, and I just can't make sense of it. The more I try to think about it, you know, like space time. You know, most people don't spend their days thinking about how the reality that we live in and just how crazy it is.
Mm.
You know, it's fucking crazy how space and time are basically like one and the same, or they work so close together that if you mess with one, it affects the other. Right?
Yep.
You know, the general theory of relativity, like it just blows my mind when I try to think about it, and I try to think about it, and like, okay, it makes sense, and then I try to think about it more. It's just like, holy shit, it's crazy. And that's reality. That's
The Matrix.
it's the world we live in. That's the universe we live in. Based on all these laws, you know, everything that we know is just, you know, following the rules of these laws.
Yeah, yeah, and we do a good job following. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it works. You know. That yeah. Yeah. And now we got quantum theory and the science of the small, the super small, and quantum entanglement, and, or, you know.
Kind of.
You know what's one crazy thing is when we lose weight. I don't know if you ever thought about this. How is it that we lose weight? Like, how do you lose that mass that you have, that extra mass? How do you get rid of it? Where does it go?
Well, a lot of it is water.
But where does it go?
Like, you just sweat it out. Or
No.
What do you mean?
No, that's not how you lose weight.
That's how fighters lose weight.
Well, that's just to me. I'm talking about we have a lot of water, and yeah, you can lose water weight. But I'm talking about when you're fat and you want to get thin. Where does all that go? How do you lose it?
Metabolize it?
Okay. Do you want to expand on that?
No.
We breathe it out, bro.
Breathe it out.
Yeah. Ain't that crazy?
Okay, but so what happens when you're like...
It has to do with metabolism. Yeah. You're right.
Well, and that includes like fat and muscle? Because I know you could lose muscle mass as well.
Yeah.
Breathe muscle mass out?
No.
Out?
So what we breathe out is CO2, right?
Yeah.
And there's carbon in that.
Yeah.
There's oxygen, 2 oxygens, 1 carbon.
Yeah.
Right? CO2. So the metabolism is... That's why we have to drink water. We need glucose for energy, and air, oxygen. So all of those create this chemical reaction, and the product is CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so that's how we lose all that extra mass that you don't need or that you want to lose, is we breathe it out.
Okay, but so is that... We do that with muscle and fat? Is that the same process?
Well, I think muscles are I don't remember exactly, but muscles they're made of protein, right? Amino acids. There is a process. I just can't remember exactly how it is. But in all that, I keep want to say cannibalism, but it's not cannibalism. Aerobic and anaerobic respiration.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all happens, and it all has to do with also with your muscles. You know, your body starts sometimes consuming your own muscles to create energy.
Yeah.
To keep moving, right? So it all has a cycle, but the end product is always CO2. I know we shit some of it out, we piss some of it out, we sweat some of it out, but the bulk of it is CO2, the stuff we breathe out, and that's where mainly, all that extra mass. That's how we lose it.
I wonder if people who have breathing issues have a harder time losing weight. Or like people who snore.
I don't know. I snore now.
Supposedly I snore, but it can't be that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
I don't know.
I had to sleep
I've been
next
told.
to last week, and it was like sleeping next to a lawnmower.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like I thought he was, like I really thought like, oh my God, this guy is not gonna live long. He's gonna die. There's no way somebody can get good sleep if you snore that bad. There's no way you're getting like.
It's not good, dude.
Or
if you're snoring like that,
deep stages of REM.
yeah,
There's no way.
yeah.
It was terrible. It was. I felt bad because one, I was sleep deprived, but two, because I was just like, this guy's gonna die.
Was it like sleep apnea?
Who knows? No, I don't think it was that bad, but it was just so loud and.
Yeah. I haven't in a while, but I have woken myself up snoring. Like I think I'm sleeping, right, and then I snore and I wake up. I'm like, what the fuck? I think I was just snoring. But I mean, Hannah tells me I snore, so. And I think I snore when I'm laying, belly up, and I'm like this. And I think that's where I snore. But when I go to sleep, I usually go to sleep with my face down.
Yeah, I think you told me that before.
Yeah.
And I think I've told you that's not good for your back.
Yeah. But that's just how I slept since I was a kid.
You can change it.
Probably, but
no.
That's how I get comfortable.
100% you can change it.
Yeah, that's how I get. But this past year or 9 months or whatever since my accident, it's been really hard to try to fall asleep. It's uncomfortable. It takes me a long time to find that like position to where I feel comfortable, and then I fall asleep because I'm moving this way, moving the other way, and it takes me a while to fall. Yeah, no, dude.
I just have a inconsistent sleep schedule. That's my issue.
Yeah.
But I'll bear it for a couple of years, and hopefully after that go back to normal, to like a normal schedule. But yeah, sleeping is such an underrated thing.
I know.
I need to get better at it.
Yeah.
It's like a skill. It really is.
It's really important. That's for sure. And a lot of people don't get enough of it. I think lately I have been getting pretty decent. I've been going to bed pretty early. And I wake up early.
Yeah,
but I'm still in that
consistency
mindset of, since I'm used to waking up like around 7, right? And I'm used to going to bed like around 12, like midnight or 1 a.m. And I've just been always used to going to bed late.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name Night Owls.
Yeah.
But just lately it's been, and I want to say lately, the past 4 or 5 months, maybe 4 months, I go to bed maybe like around 10. I'm just already sleepy, bro. Like I'm done. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to bed, and I wake up like around 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's all right because that's like 8 hours, right? From 10 to 5, that's what?
I mean, that's
7 hours, 6. So usually like around 5:30 or 6, I wake up. And I wake up like by myself. Like I don't have an alarm. My alarm is always at 7. Unless I really need to get up before that, I set an alarm, but my alarm is always at 7. And I just wake up really early. But then I think to myself, oh, it's really early still. I don't have to really be up until like 7 or something. And so I try to force myself back to sleep. And then I sleep more. Then I wake up and I just feel like shit. And then I feel like I'm more tired
So why don't
throughout
you
the
wake
day.
up after 6?
I don't know. After 6?
After 6 hours of sleep. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why don't you wake up? Like, why don't you get up?
Just, I know, and that's the thing. I just need to get up, and I know I'll be fine. But there's that thing in my head to where it's like, oh, you know, you just wake up and you look at the clock, and it's 5:30 or 6, and it's like, oh, I have another hour. You know, I can, and I just keep laying there, and I try to force myself back to sleep because I know I don't have to get up, but I know I could get up, and I just need to get up, and I'll be fine, and I'll
Right.
feel better.
Yeah.
But it's just that moment of waking up and seeing the clock, and it's 6 o'clock or 5:30.
Yeah, see, I have the same issue. Like, the person that I am when I wake up like that is different from the person that that goes to sleep.
Yeah.
It's a different person.
Yeah.
Completely different person. I remember a professor told me that, like, if you want to be 100% win like or get something from somebody and or be at your most persuasive moment, wake them up in the middle of their sleep and ask them for that favor. They will fucking say yes to anything just to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
In the same sense that if you wake up like an hour before your alarm, the person that makes that decision, oh fuck it, I'm going to sleep. That person, who is that person, dude? I hate that person. I hate that person, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
the thing is, I've never been a morning person. I've always gone to bed late. You know?
Yeah.
And I've never been a morning person, even though I've had to wake up early for most of my life. I've had to wake up early.
Yeah, but what about your rhythm? Like I think it's the circadian rhythm of the 4 cycles of sleep.
Yeah.
Average person goes through them 1, 2, 3, 4, and then average person goes through them in 90 minutes. So
Like, you mean trying to hit REM sleep?
Trying to go through the whole cycle.
And to hit REM sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's the deepest.
Yeah, but so you look at the pattern of how people sleep. They go through the stage, up and down.
Yeah.
So you go through all 4 stages multiple times throughout the night.
Yeah.
If you wake up at a bad moment, like let's say, it's because it's at 90-minute increments. So a 3-hour nap is better than a 2-hour nap, because if you do a 2-hour and you wake up, you're gonna wake up at the wrong stage, at a deeper stage than if you were waking up at the top of the 4th stage. Essentially, if you wake up at the top of the 4th stage, your body already is naturally like more awake. Versus if you wake up like in stage 2, 3, or in the middle and or at the beginning of 4, you'll feel like shit, absolute dog shit.
So you're saying that your naps should be long?
Yeah. Well,
here's
not naps, but sleep also in 3 hour
sleep or
increments.
naps?
3 hour increments, because it's a 90-minute cycle. Pretty sure it's a 90-minute cycle. You basically want to wake up either at 3 hours, 6 hours, or 9 hours.
So you're saying that it's a 90-minute cycle from where you hit your first part of sleep to where you hit REM sleep.
Mm-hmm. Like
90 minutes.
Yeah, come out of the 4th stage. Yeah.
Okay. What's the 4th stage? Is that REM sleep?
Yeah, that's the deepest one. Yeah.
Okay.
The first 2 are like, what is it, the light version of it?
I don't know.
Yeah, because there's the deep and there's the light version.
Because from what I've, my personal experience is, and I'm not talking about sleep, like just regular night sleep when, the day's over, you're going to sleep. I'm talking about like naps.
Mm-hmm.
I've found that the longer the nap, the shittier I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go to sleep and maybe sleep 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I wake up and I get up, bro, I feel fucking great. I don't know why, but I feel great. But also, now that you mentioned those cycles, I've gone to sleep for 30 minutes and I wake up and I remember that I was dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So is that because I hit that cycle way earlier than I should have? Because you said it typically takes about 90 minutes, but I've had naps that are 20, 30 minutes long to where I feel like I just woke up, I just went to sleep and I wake up, but I remember that I was dreaming and I remember a dream.
Typical night person goes through 4 to 6 sleep. On average, they last about 90 minutes.
Minutes, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I used to wake up a lot more during the night. Now I don't. Not so much. But before I would wake up, bro, I would wake up about 4 or 5 times
Yeah, it's not bad.
during the night.
Well, that's kind of why they say that setting up multiple
Alarm?
alarms
Really?
will just absolutely ruin your day.
Oh, ruin?
Yeah, ruin
Yeah,
your
yeah.
day.
Dude,
You will not. So they've done studies to where like people who sleep in a way that fits that pattern, or
yeah.
basically they do a sleep study and they determine, okay, what stages, how long does it take you to go through what stages, how many hours at what time do I have to wake you up so that you could be at the coming off of that deep sleep at the cusp of it, to where you're like you are. It's after 6 hours, you're like, okay, I'm up and I'm not tired and I feel kind of energetic, like I could get up, but then you're like, fuck, I don't have to get up, so I
Yeah,
just go back to
yeah.
sleep. So people like find out, they find out their pattern, and they've done studies to people who kind of were all over the place compared to people who actually found a perfect time to wake up or perfect amount of time to go to sleep. And like performance wise, both physical performance but also mental performance and energy levels were just way better for people that actually know their time patterns and just follow that particular pattern and have consistency, obviously, of going to sleep and waking up at the same time every day, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and
that's why I say it fucks up your day.
yeah. So I think I just need to do it one day. I need to do it. Just fucking do it. Get up, and I know that I'm gonna feel better throughout the day, because I know the longer that I sleep, the shittier that I feel throughout the day.
Right.
I feel tired. I feel exhausted. I feel like, I have just moody, and I know I have a time, and I think that time is around 7 hours,
Yeah.
because if I go to sleep like around, dude, I've gone to sleep early and like 9,
Yeah.
that's how early I go to sleep now. That I've gone to sleep like around 9. But it's usually like around 10. That's what I was at 10, 10:30 at the latest now. Nowadays, excuse me. But I always wake up. If I go to sleep like around 10, I always wake up by myself. Like I said, no alarm, around 5:30. Mm-hmm. And I know I should just get up. But it's that thing of like, I'm laying down. When you wake up, nobody feel, at least I don't, those few moments, you just like wake up and you're just like looking around and like, oh, okay. And then I look at the clock and it's still 5:30 and it's like, oh, like I don't have to get up right now, and then you close your eyes because you know you don't have to get up. So I just need to do it. I just need to get up, try it one day, and I know I'm just going to feel better throughout the day.
Why don't you give yourself something to do?
Well, there is something to do, because I haven't been to the gym in fucking like over a month now. And my excuse has always been because, the last class that we have at the gym that Hannah and I go to is at 6.
Yeah.
And I've been getting off work pretty late. I get off work around 5:30, sometimes 6. So it's just like, oh, like I can't make it. And it's true. But they do offer classes that start at 4, if I want to be, maybe 5. I think 5. They start at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7, all the way up to 9 in the morning, I think. They have classes. So I could potentially get up at 5:30 and fucking go to the gym to the 6 o'clock class. And from there, just go straight to work and I'll feel great. So I just need to do that.
I think going to the gym is a hard goal. It's a very hard goal to have in the mornings.
Yeah, I just don't know what else I would be doing at fucking 5:30 in the morning or 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I would be doing.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about motivation, and I've tried to like phrase it in a way of exercise, because I feel it's just relatable. Like,
Yeah,
what is it that why is it that some people have the motivation and follow through and some people don't, despite wanting to? Because everybody, I would assume most everybody wants to be healthy and fit. Is like a very cloudy word, but as to why they don't.
They know they should.
Yeah. As to why, maybe it's not a motivation issue at all.
No, it is. I think it is a motivation issue because, even though like for like the gym thing, you know, I know I could be making these early classes, and I find an excuse to not go to the late ones because like I already know that maybe I could try to finish work early so that I can make that 6 o'clock, right? And I just know that like, oh, I'm just going to extend work a little bit more because I know it's work, and that's a good excuse to not make it.
A crutch.
You know? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And to where before, when I was, I mean, you saw me when I was pretty fit, you know, like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah,
and I was hammering the fucking gym. Like
tiny,
I was like jacked, bro. And I think it was a lot of motivation because and in those days, bro, I couldn't wait to get into the fucking gym. I couldn't wait. There were times where the gym that I used to go to, it was a 24-hour gym. And there were times, you know, I would usually go around 6 or 7. And there were times where I was just home. I was just bored as fuck. And I'm just, bro, I would go to the gym at like 1 a.m. in the morning. You know, that's how motivated I was, or that's how much I wanted to be in the gym, that I would go at like 1 in the morning and be the only motherfucker in there.
I mean, I would say there's a lot of situational factors that have changed for you, though. Because you can't be up at 1 in the morning no more, dude.
No, I can't. But I'm saying that motivation, though, to me wanting to be there at 1 in the morning, it's just, well, it was not there.
It was in part moderated by the fact that you had the opportunity to be there, though.
Yeah. So
now that you don't have the opportunity, you have to find... It's a little different. You have to find something else. Yeah.
And this gym that we go to is also far as fuck. I mean, it's like a 25-minute drive.
So do you think that goal of waking up at 5:30 in the morning and going to that gym, would you consider that goal, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is that goal for you?
I mean, I've been...
To do it at 5:30 in the morning, though.
To wake up 5:30 and be there at 6?
Yeah. Is that even possible?
What?
Is that possible? Can you, like, time-wise?
Well, I think I would have to go to sleep a little bit earlier.
In your gym clothes?
No, I would have to just go to sleep a little bit earlier, or set an alarm for at least 5:15. Just enough time to give myself to, you know, brush my teeth, put on some clothes, and get in the car. Because it'd probably be a little bit less than 25 minutes if there, you know, no traffic.
There's probably no traffic at that time.
Right? So let's say 5:15. 5:15, if I wake up, I'm good. I would make it, no problem. I think right now it's like an 8 or 9 because I've been thinking about this dude for weeks and weeks and weeks, and every day is just like, tomorrow, man, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed because I go to bed early anyways. I wake up at this time all the time. I'm just going to wake up, get up, go to the gym, and then from there, you know, go to work. Then 5:30 fucking comes around. I wake up. I look at the clock. I'm like, nah. I'll finish work later, and I'll just go at the 6 o'clock one.
Yeah,
and then fucking
that other asshole that wakes up for you, dude.
And then like fucking 4:30 comes around, or 5, and like I'm like, oh, like I still have to work, so like, you know, I come up with all these excuses every day, and I just don't do it. So for me to say that like, oh, all I need to do is just get up and that's easy, it's false, because I don't do it. So I want to say it's like around an 8 or a 9. Of difficulty right now of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, on a sober alert, your sober and or alert self, an awake self would go, but your I just woke up self is like,
It's
no.
5:30 in the morning.
I'm gonna do that.
That's my I just woke up self says every fucking morning. She was like, bro, it's 5:30 in the morning. What the fuck you doing up?
Stop it.
Stop it. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. Fuck.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. But and on top of that, I'm paying fucking like $130 a month for that gym.
Right.
That, well, actually 260. No, 230 because we had like a 2-person discount or something. So we paid 230. But Hannah's been hammering it, bro. She's fucking fit, bro. I'm so proud of her. I took her once when I was still going. We first started going out, and I was still hitting the gym about 3 times a week, right? But I was starting to lose because it used to be about 6 times a week, you know, and then it started going down.
Damn.
And it became like 3 times a week.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm at right now. Is 3 times a week.
Really? And when we first started going out, I was starting to lose that. I started spending. I don't want to blame it on her, but we started spending more time. I started getting more comfortable, and then I just got super comfortable. But one of those times, I took her to the gym with me, and she was just so shy, and she just felt so like uncomfortable. She didn't want. She thought everybody was looking at her and all these things, and I'm like, no one is looking at her. Like nobody's looking at you. You're fine. Just do your thing. And she was like, "Oh, well, you left me," and I'm like, well, "It's just we can't do the same things, you know. You and I'm over here benching. You can't bench, you know. I'm benching fucking 180 pounds, and I can't take all these weights off for you to bench just the bar every single time, right? Like you go do all these other things." So she felt really shy. So for her to overcome all of that at this gym. Like the first couple of days when we first joined, well, we didn't join. We took like this week trial.
How do you find this gym if it's so far?
Through some friends that go there.
Okay.
And we were like, okay, we want to try it. And
So how far is it?
It's in O'Fallon.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a drive. It's a drive, bro. It's past Mid Rivers. Like still a few minutes past Mid Rivers.
Right. Actually, I've been going to Mid Rivers for physical therapy.
Yeah. So like the first couple of days, you know, that week trial that we were there, she was also obviously really shy because there was a lot of fit girls there. So I think she felt a little bit intimidated, and especially when she was trying to do all these exercises, and the guys there, the owners, there's like 3 owners. They're there and they're doing the class, and they're walking around, and if you're not doing it right, they're involved, right? So if they see you something and you need help with, they go to you, and then they teach you how to do it in proper form and all this stuff. So they were going to her a lot because obviously she's never worked out like that before, and they were trying to help her, and she felt very like, you know, intimidated and all these things. But just slowly, bro, like she started getting the hang of it. She felt more confident, and now it's just like, you know, she goes there and she's like the most confident girl there, and I think that's really cool. That she was able to overcome all of that and enjoy it, wanting to be there, and she loves it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Team Branch. No, bro, they're really cool. I love that gym. Like, I wish they had like a class at 7, but at the same time, it's like you probably wouldn't go, motherfucker.
I'll just work later.
But part of me, you know, wants that, but because it's cool, bro. Like the first, let's say, I was going there for like 3 weeks, and I was losing about 3 pounds a week. Yeah. And because they have you like, you know, they got you doing some good shit.
What kind of workouts is this?
It's all we have like strength days, and it just depends on how much weight obviously you want to do, and then we have these days that are called hit days. They are more like interval. I don't want to say cardio, but a little bit of cardio, but a lot of intervals, workouts, and those are hard, bro. Like they're all hard. Those are hard. Just the nature of them are hard because you have to keep going and going and going and going.
It's like insanity.
Not that crazy, but they can get pretty crazy like that. And then the strength days, it's up to you, just how much you want to lift. So that's pretty much up to you.
I remember you almost had like a heart attack when we were doing insanity.
Because it's insane, bro.
He's like, that's the first time I've ever heard that, because you like stop and you're like, I have a heart condition. I was like, what do you mean, dude? Why are you just telling me this?
No, but I don't have a heart condition. I thought I had a heart condition because I couldn't do it.
You're like, I was just weak.
No, yeah, those were hard, man.
Yeah,
they were hard. They're insane.
Legs, man, a lot of legs.
Yeah, and it was just body weight. Yeah, no, this gym is super cool, bro. There was Hannah took a picture of herself like when we first joined, and then a picture of 3 months later. Bro, it's like a complete transformation. And they even feature her picture like on their Instagram page, and like it got a lot of traction and shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
3 months. That's a really short period of time.
Yeah, bro. I mean, she was going she goes every day.
She goes every day?
Yeah.
Like 7 days a week?
Not 7. I'm talking about like a weekday.
Okay.
At least 5 times a week. She goes about 5 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she's the one that goes to like the 5 o'clock classes.
Those are probably. Wait, she goes to 5 o'clock classes?
Yeah. Not every day, but she goes to a lot of the 5 o'clock classes. How did she get across
70 at 4 p.m.?
No, 5 a.m.
Oh, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Wait, why doesn't she just wake you up? Oh, because she would have to wake you up at 4:30, huh?
Well, someone has to stay with the baby too.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys have a baby. Wait, they don't have like a baby care thing?
No, they don't. They have like a little playpen, but that's if your kid's like 4 or something.
Right,
that you can kind of keep an eye. They'll be fine if they're playing around. But I mean, Gianna's 10 months old.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, she's about to be 11. Holy shit, she's about to be 11 months.
You'll be saying she's about to be 11 years old soon.
Fuck, dude. She's crawling around everywhere. She doesn't want to stay still anymore. She's literally crawling around everywhere. She's flying. She's everywhere. It's crazy. A couple months ago, this little person couldn't even move, Now she's going places and moving on her own. Like she can get from here to there on her own. That's fucking insane to me.
I forget what other mammal, but like we're one of the few mammals that aren't born able to walk.
Like kangaroos, but they're marsupials, so that wouldn't count. What other mammals aren't able to walk?
When they're born.
No, giraffes can walk.
Zebras,
like cows and shit can walk. I don't know, maybe like monkeys or chimps, like the apes, right?
Right.
Can they walk when they're born?
I don't know, because they don't. I guess crawl-ish.
When they're born, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But there's not. We're in the minority in that respect, I believe.
What do you mean?
In the minority that are born not being able to walk.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just that we're born premature.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Have you read this book, Sapiens, called Sapiens?
No.
You should read it. I don't know if you're into that kind of stuff.
I just don't have time, but yeah.
Bro, I have it.
Give me a 5-minute summary right now.
So this guy, he's this Israeli guy or author, and
Israeli. That's a good topic.
Um, yeah, right now, yeah, it is. I mean, well, not right now, always. But,
Well, not always.
I mean, since its inception, there's always been problems.
So,
And then
70 years.
Yeah. And I mentioned before that, you know. But anyways, this guy, this author, his last name is Yuval. I can't remember his first name. But he wrote a couple of books, or 3 books, and his first book, I think that was his first book. It's called Sapiens, and it's like a history of humankind. And he was talking about, you know, just how we went from all these other type of humanoids, because even Neanderthals, even though they're not Homo sapiens, they were humans. Human is just more of an arbitrary word, right? We're Homo sapiens, right? Well, we are the people. But those Neanderthals, even though they're different species, they were still humans, right? So he's talking about just kind of like the history of all these different type of species and subspecies of humans that have existed, you know, and throughout time. And just once we started walking upright, or not us, but the apes or whatever started walking upright, the females' hips had to become a little bit, they were still narrow. So back in like way, I'm talking about millions of years ago, a lot of females were dying because their offspring were coming out. They were too big. And so evolution made women's hips more like to be able to expand when giving birth. And also humans started giving birth prematurely, so that they were able to pass through that and survive, right? And that's why I'm sure it's a lot more complicated than that, but the short story is that's why we're born prematurely, is because we have to, because otherwise our big ass head is too big to come out. If we're any bigger, you know, it's too big, we would kill the mother, or we would just die ourselves. And that's why we're born prematurely, basically.
Yeah, because I suppose C-sections didn't exist then.
No, they did not.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting read, bro. It's really, really interesting. He also talks about just how we have constructed all these. He calls them like fiction, fake things, companies, entities, all these things that don't exist, but they exist because or like money. It exists and it has value because we give it that value. Humans give it that value. If we did not give it that value, it wouldn't have any value. You know, when he was saying like, take this $1 and fucking give it to a chimp to take its banana and see what happens. Right? A fucking chimp will never give you his banana for $1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you go to a store, you give them $1, they give you a banana. Because they know that with that $1, they can go get something else. Right? So we understand that. So we give it that value. And he was talking about that with companies, how we have invented this whole he goes deep, bro. We have invented this whole world of entities that are now self-standing, but don't really exist. They don't have like an objective existence, like you and me, right? They just exist because we allowed them to exist. They exist in our minds, right? For example, if you were to sue, say that your Apple phone, it blows up in your face, right? And now you're all fucked up. You're not gonna go sue what's his name? The CEO from Apple. What's his name? Tim Cook. You're not gonna go sue him, right?
All right.
You sue Apple. Apple's an entity. As a company, it exists. So you go and sue Apple. You don't go sue Tim Cook. you go sue that company,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he goes through all that stuff, and it's good, bro. He has 3 books. I haven't read the third one, but I read Sapiens, and then I read Homo Deus, which is the where we're going. Sapiens was kind of like the history, a brief history of humankind, and Homo Deus is kind of like a brief history of like where we're going.
I don't know, dude. Where we going? East side?
Holy shit! Fuck! I can't believe that place still exists.
Dude, I went there like 3 years ago. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Just,
Dude, I
Good
don't
old
remember
times.
the last time I went over there. I think it has over 5 years for sure. I don't remember.
yeah.
I just remember it was
Yeah.
nasty. It sucked.
Whatever, dude. You were way more excited to go there than I ever was.
Yeah, but it always sucked.
That's what I try to explain to you.
Yeah. But apparently it doesn't. You said you went 3 years ago and it was awesome.
Yeah, because, it's just a good night.
What kind of questions that keep you up at night?
And it's like, well, what will the future be, kind of a thing. I do get anxiety about what the future brings. I think that's a big worry for me. Because, like, the future is just so blurry at the moment. But it's blurry, but at the same time, it's not. And it's like, well, what am I going to do? What do I want to do with the time that I got left? Who knows? I think that's what keeps me up at night, is just thinking about, like, a future orientation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's deep. It's definitely something that I think keeps most people up at night.
Yeah, because now that I made it to my 30s, it's too late to die young, dude. I gotta keep living. I missed the 28 club.
It's the 27 club.
Is it 27?
27.
Yeah, see, I missed that by 5 years now.
Yeah.
So
hopefully you keep missing it.
If I die now, it's totally uncool.
Yeah. How old? 31, right? 32.
32 now. Yeah,
Fuck, dude, I'll be 32 in just a little bit over a month.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck.
There you go.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was telling her that now that I have the baby and a house, I feel different in terms of like, how do I say it? It feels like I'm all grown up now. Like I'm not just some guy, right? I'm not a guy. I'm now this man.
I mean, you're a spectacle on a pixel, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm this man. I'm this 32-year-old man.
Right.
And, even when I was 28, 29, it just felt like young. It's not that I feel old and stuff like that, but it's just like, I have this whole new other little person that I need to take care of, and they're going to look up to me for everything. And I'm just that person that I looked up. I still look up to my dad, but I'm not that person that when I was little, I saw him and I'm like, that guy is a man. That guy is a full-grown man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense. And it's just now, like, I go to work, I come home and I play with her and I carry her and I'm just a grown man now. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if you feel that way.
Dude, when I was wrestling at 120, weight-wise, I thought anybody 145 and up was a grown man. I was shook, dude. I was like, dude, you are not a fucking teenager no more, dude.
Yeah. Or I think about also, when we first moved here to America and my dad was 30.
It's pretty young.
And he was already he was a full grown man, but maybe that's why I feel like that now, because I think about back then to where I was a little kid, and to where I'm now at the age my dad was when he first moved here.
Right.
So I'm now at that age. So I think that's why it's hitting me now a little bit harder, age. It's just fuck, I'm now the age that my dad was when he first moved here to America.
Yeah.
It's like I've hit a whole nother level of adult, I think maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And it's just fuck, 32. But at the same time, it's you're my friend. You're one of my closest friends, one of my best friends, and we've known each other for a long time. And it's just we can still go maybe take a week off or something and go to the Grand Canyon or go to Zion or something like that. But now there's going to be more things in the back of my head of, trying to climb down this fucking rope that was just hanging there before some guy came and told us not to go there, Now there's going to be a lot of things in the back of my head of just maybe I shouldn't do this because,
Oh, you got that too much to lose thing?
Not too much to lose, but, I think having a kid, it definitely puts a lot of things into perspective of you can't be so reckless. Especially after my car accident. It's just fuck, man. Can you imagine? I would have just been gone a week later after my daughter was born.
Mm-hmm.
And she would have grown up to never know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Maybe just pictures and stories or whatever, but she would have never known who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Over just something like that.
True. Quite.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing.
Because it's one of those things where, parent-wise, because I myself I'm not a parent, but I've a lot of my friends are parents, and also I've gone through the whole childhood experience of being parented. So I think that's a really interesting experience. Very interesting experience as a parent, but also as a child. I think I read that on Reddit yesterday. It's when you were a little kid, you didn't realize that your parents were also growing up.
Yeah.
Just as much as you were.
Yeah.
Especially if your parent was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, this is one of the things I tried telling Hannah, there's that age gap between us that...
How old is she?
That she's 23.
Okay.
So there is that, 8-year age gap. I tried telling her, it's yeah, you have a kid now. But before Gianna, I think she was trying to compare herself to all of us because we were older. I'm not talking about myself and my friends and stuff like that. It's just but it's I'm you're 21, you're 20, you know what I was doing at 20. And I still try to tell her today, it's look at you, you're 23 years old, you bought a house, you have a child, you have all these things, and to where if I tell you when I was 23 what I was doing, I was at 23, I think that's when we were living together, right?
23, yeah.
It's I was just going to work, and I just didn't have a worry or like really care in the world, and it was
Dude, I was playing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty all
My
fucking
death
night.
ratio, death to life ratio,
Fucking
is
zombies.
1.2, dude.
Zombies, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we were playing zombies for so fucking long that whenever we were done and I would go to sleep, I would close my eyes and I still see fucking zombies coming at me.
with the brownie, dude.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just like you're fine. You know, you're on track. You're good. You have done a lot more now at your age than I had ever done at my age. You know?
Right.
And so I think that she tries to compare herself a lot just because she's like, yeah, everybody, she sees all these people have all these things or houses or whatever, and I'm just like slow down. You're not even that age yet to like, you know, ask Dre's, ask whoever what the fuck they were doing at your age, right?
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, and now, and that's what I told her. Look at you. You have a house. You're 23 years old and you own a house. You have a child. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's gonna be pretty cool being, cause like my mom was pretty young when she had me, so she's not like, my relationship with her is not at all like all that formal.
Yeah.
Like we have very friend-like relationship for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you know,
young.
my mom the same way. You know, she had me when she was 20. There's a 20-year age gap between us. My dad's a little bit more. It's 22.
Yeah.
But it's different circumstances. You know, for them it was way different. You know, life was different. Raising a child is way different.
I kind of wonder about that as well, because like, if I do have a kid, it's clearly I'm gonna be clearly older than that kid. Like by a lot, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, I'm 30 years older than when I had my, and you know, Hannah, she was there's only going to be a 22-year gap
like
between them.
My sister, for example, she has a 10-year-old already. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna be exhausted. I'm gonna have to hire.
Nah, you'll be fine. Cause, dude, my dad had.
I'm gonna hire somebody, dude, to keep up with this kid.
My dad had Sophie at what, 40, 42, something like that.
Okay, but that's an outlier, is what we call that.
An outlier.
That is not average. Dude, when I found out about that, I was like, "You guys are fucking crazy."
Well, that whole story's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That whole story's really is crazy. You know, my mom, I don't know if we obviously we didn't know each other because I was like 12 or 13, something like that. And my mom got pregnant and she lost the baby at 8 months, and it just, you know, devastated her and everyone, but obviously more her. And she was just not the same person for a really long time, and they were trying to get pregnant and then they couldn't. And then, you know, she says that our doctor, like our family doctor, it was with the help of him. But obviously she's like more religious and she believes more in that stuff. And that, you know, he was like, "I'm gonna get you guys pregnant. Don't worry about it. You guys will get pregnant." To her and my dad, and this guy, he passed away. Right, he had a heart attack. He died, and literally like a month later, she got pregnant. And she says that it's because, you know, he was an angel and somehow, you know, he helped them get pregnant. Whatever, you know, that's what she believes, that's what she thinks, and it's nice and all that. And that's how it happened, or that's how she thinks it happened. You know, and and we have Sophie.
How old is Sophie now?
Bro, she's 30. She's 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1
Yeah.
year older than. Gotcha.
Yeah. She's about to go. I think she's going into middle school next year. It's fucking crazy. I still remember, dude. I remember 6th grade. Not 6th grade camp, but 6th grade orientation day.
Really?
I remember that shit like it was yesterday, man. I remember walking into the gym, right? It's like everybody was there, and I remember walking in, and there was the Beatles songs playing.
Which one? Come together.
Love me do.
Oh.
You know that one. Yeah. And I still remember that like it was yesterday. That's crazy. And then just in August, that's gonna be her. It's crazy.
6th grade. 6th grade was fucking weird.
Dude, 6th grade was awesome. It was awesome.
I skipped a lot of school in 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I was in El Salvador for 6th grade.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, there's this guy that goes to the gym that we go to, or actually that Hannah goes to, I should say now. By now, can't say we go to because I haven't been in like over a month.
They probably ask her about you all the time. She's probably like, "Oh, he's working."
She said that at first they did, and then like after a while they stopped.
He ain't coming back.
Like, fuck that guy. No, I need to make an appearance. But anyways, we were walking out one day, and I see this guy come up to me, and like instantly I recognized him, and he was like, I didn't see him. I kind of saw him first working out, but I didn't really see his face, so I didn't really pay attention to him. But once he came up to me and I saw him, I'm like, holy shit! Like, and he came up to me. He was like, hey, like, is your name Sergio? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, are you Zach? You Zach, right? He's like, yeah. And bro, we went to school together, and we graduated high school together, and hadn't seen this guy since we graduated. Right. You know, I'm talking about fucking 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. And I'm like, holy shit, like, what's up, man? Like, and he works there all the time. You know, he's there almost every day. And I met that guy. I remember the guy from 6th grade. We met in 6th grade. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I'm surprised you guys recognize each other.
Yeah.
I would recognize very few people.
Yeah.
From high school.
I think I would recognize a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's just always that awkwardness of not wanting to talk to them anyways.
Yeah, because
like,
I don't really talk to anyone.
Because just the conversation, the stream of the conversation, you know where it's going, you know where it's going to end, and it's going to be small talk 100%.
Yeah. And you know what's even weirder? That if you're friends on Facebook, so you know about that person either way enough throughout their whole life, you know, after graduation.
Like you caught up.
Yeah. And then when you see them, it's just like, oh, hey, what's up? How are you, man? Like, how you been? Like, like when you just saw a fucking picture they posted, you know, the day before that.
Dude, funny enough, though, I did run into a classmate, and this was a long time ago now, but post high school, who at the grocery store, and I actually had a decently, like, yeah, it was small talk, but I don't know, it was like a good small talk because I felt like we were like on the same page of doing well, kind of a thing, and so I felt good about it. I was like, okay, cool, I'm glad I ran into you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like maybe a month later, he like overdosed on heroin. So I was like,
oh fuck, did he die?
Yeah, he died.
Shit.
So I was like, looking back at that, I'm like, man, I am so glad I got to speak to you one more fucking time. Because it's, again, one of those things of people that die young. Because it's like...
Yeah.
It's insane, dude.
This girl that I knew in high school, we'd known each other since fucking middle school. And we graduated in 2008, May 2008, and she fucking died in November of 2008. So that same year, she died that same fucking year, 5 months, 6 months later, after we graduated from high school.
That's insane.
And I still remember that. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that kind of always eats at me a little bit.
It's crazy because, we grew up together. We weren't like the closest of friends. She was a friend.
Right.
Right. And you go to school together, all those years. You go to high school, you grow up, and then we all graduate, and then you just think everybody's just going to go and live their own life, right? And they're just going to go and live their life. And she never got that chance. Fucking 5 months later, the guy she was with was drunk, fucking, crashes, and she's the one that dies.
Right.
And it's just like that. 18 years old.
Well, I always go back to like just people who are in similar positions, because I mean I've been in that position. I've been driving drunk quite often in my teens kind of years. So it's like, well, I was no more deserving of life than they are. That could have been me.
Yeah.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no difference there. It's absolutely fucking random in my opinion. Super fucking random. So then I get that feeling of, okay, well, I am alive. I am both alive and both dead at the same time, because I should have been. Should have been, could have been kind of a thing. So it's that, like, having to just continue on with that burden of, okay, you're alive, but only by chance. So none of what you're doing really fucking means shit, because at the same time, you're already dead kind of a thing. You're just lucky enough to continue being alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the meaningless that I feel. And now the meaningless that I feel isn't because I'm like small and comparative of what the universe is. The meaningless that I feel is that I am alive by randomness. I am alive by just coincidence.
Yeah.
Absolute coincidence. And it drives me insane.
Yeah. Well, so now I feel like we've come full circle now of like the beginning of the talk. So you do agree that then it's just all randomness and just chance?
Well, I've come to think that with regards to death, I really do think like you'll never be late and you'll never be early. When it comes to death, I really think it's when it was meant to be. It's weird because I only think that about death. I don't think about anything else.
So you saying that it was meant to be, that it was predestined?
I feel like in a type of way, your death day is kind of predestined. Like you can't do anything to escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in some sort of way, I agree. I agree in sense of, I don't think it was predestined as someone, it was your destiny and it was premeditated by someone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I think it was, it
was going to happen.
It was always going to happen.
It was always going to happen that day.
It was always going to happen.
That time, that minute.
I do agree with that, but I agree with that in the sense of when we were talking about the space and time, all that shit, that crazy shit, that general theory of relativity that I was telling you about, of space and time, of, we perceive time as a linear thing, right?
We do, yes. We experience
it as a linear thing that it's just, we keep going forward and there's no going back.
Not even a second.
Not even a second, not even it's not even a moment.
Right.
Right? And the future is the same way.
Yeah,
we are prisoners of this present, right? But if someone looking at it from a different perspective, they can probably see that whole line. This conversation is always happening. This this next word that I'm gonna say, it's always being said.
Well, that's where my anxiety comes from. Is because I always try to look at things from that perspective.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So, this conversation is always happening.
Yeah.
An infinite amount of times. It's always happening. It's just that we ourselves experience it going in a linear way. Mm-hmm. So whatever I just said a couple seconds ago is always being said an infinite amount of times. So this begs the question of like everything that I have ever said, anything that I will ever say or happen or do or stuff like that, it's always happening. It always will happen, and it's gonna happen in an infinite amount of times. But we just perceive it in a linear way to where we are moving from a moment to the next moment to the next moment.
Are you sure you haven't seen Tenet yet, dude?
Who?
Tenet?
No.
Oh my God, dude. You love that movie, dude.
A movie, Tenet?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds familiar. Is this with Ben Affleck?
No, but it's
no.
Robin. What's the guy from Twilight?
The vampire movie?
Yeah, the dude.
I don't know.
Edward
Norton? I don't know.
No. Edward something.
Edward.
No, I was going to say Snowden. It's not that either. No, but you should watch Tenet.
Tenet?
It has a very interesting perspective of time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
should watch it.
Yeah, I want to see it now. So I try to think about that and try to make sense of that, and that's where my fucking brain just burns out and just short circuits, because I try to make sense of that, and it's just this it kind of I think that's just how it works. It's just all these moments, all these things are always being said. So the next the thing that I did today or I just said is always happening an infinite amount of times. It's always happening. It's just me at this point in time, at this moment, the me right now, it's just experiencing it as I move through this, as I move through this dimension of time. Right. So whatever is going to happen tomorrow or the next day or 10 years from now or whenever, it's always happening.
Oh, it's always happening.
It's always happening.
I don't know. But yeah, with regards to death, I do think it's just a set date. There's a date exactly that exists in which you die.
Yeah.
It exists right now.
Yeah, and I think we're moving along that line to where we hit that, and it's just lights out. Now, does our essence, the universe weighs nothing. Everything that has existed, I'm talking about particles and atoms and all that. Mm-hmm. You can't create nor destroy atoms or matter, right? That is one of the laws of conservation of matter. You can't destroy nor create matter. So
I don't know if Thanos is out there, but yeah.
So, but even that, even in the movie when he snaps his fingers, those people turn into dust. So
that's a song, I think.
Right?
Yes, that's a song. Is that a song?
No, what?
Kansas dirt in the dust. Something, I don't know. You're my boy, Blue. Old school, Will Ferrell.
No.
Damn.
But I'm saying that every atom, we're mainly made of carbon, right? Hydrogen, oxygen, all these elements that have, always existed and always will exist. Now we just happen to be in this arrangement that we exist right now.
Sack of meat.
All right. So we're just in this arrangement of atoms that creates you, that creates me. If I get buried into the dirt or whatever, whenever I die or cremated, I'm just converted into something else. Right? So it makes me think also, it's just like, we have always been here. Every part of you has always been here, has been part of something else, and it's probably going to be part of something else whenever you're gone.
Yeah.
Maybe part of a tree, maybe part of, I don't know where it fucking ends up.
Ask Mufasa, dude.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. This has been a deep one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I told you we were going to go in deep today.
What time is it?
I don't know. It is 10:30. Fucking A. I feel like it's 1 a.m. in the morning and it's 10:30 at night.
I do feel pretty sleepy because I did go to sleep late last night.
Yeah.
I had to wake up kind of early.
Yeah.
And it's been a productive day.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it was a productive day for me too.
Yeah, that was Friday. I'm supposed to get my second shot tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get sick with the first shot at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just
Dude, that first shot fucked me up.
The next day I felt, I guess, like body aches.
Yeah?
What I felt, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that first shot fucked me up it was about a day and a half.
Did you take your second shot?
Yeah.
Dude, so my teacher was saying, because she's like, yeah, I got the second shot. Or was it the first? It was one of the shots. But she's like, I've been fucked up all month.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only felt shit for about a day and a half. Like the day that they gave it to me, about 4 or 5 hours later, I started feeling, shit. And then the full next day, and then, the day after that, I woke up, I was feeling a little, not great, but it wasn't that bad. And just throughout the day, I was fine. And that was the first shot. For the second shot, I thought I was I'm like, fuck, like I was dreading getting that fucking shot because most of the people that I've heard, the second shot is what did it for them.
Mm-hmm.
They were feeling really bad about it. And I was just like, fuck, man, whenever I get the second shot, I know I'm going to feel like shit for a couple of days and I don't want to miss work again. And fuck, like I was just dreading it. And I get there, they give me a shot. And, 4 hours later, I'm like, I feel fine. It's night, and I'm like, okay, I feel fine. Then the next day, I didn't feel anything. I was fine for the second dose.
Yeah, no, I was fine for the first day. It's just the second day was kind of a little.
Yeah, my arm was a little.
I was just tired.
Really?
I was just tired.
Yeah, my arm was a little sore, but that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, I felt completely fine.
Shit, have you ever got the penicillin shot?
On your ass?
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Talk about sore ass. Jesus, can't
dude,
even sit down.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, man. We were still living it, like before we moved to America, and I got sick. Like I knew what that meant. Like I knew. Like I was fucking like 5 years old, and I knew what that meant. And I still remember this because my aunt that lived next door, she was a nurse, and whenever I got sick, I knew she was gonna fucking just poke me in the ass and inject me with, I don't know with what, penicillin, I don't know, but I just knew that I was gonna get a shot in the fucking ass, and those hurt like a motherfucker, and to this day I remember those and I dread those, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah, dude, like they call it the peanut butter shot because that's what it feels like. They're injecting it because it's like it's like what is going into this, dude? It's
and it's just like when it goes in because there's so much muscle there, just like
crunch.
It's like crunch, yeah, like crunch, yeah. Fuck. Anyways, all right, man. You ready to wrap this up? Or what?
Yeah, it's late. It's past your bedtime.
Past my bedtime, that's for sure. But yeah, make sure you guys, everybody, like and subscribe. Night Owls Podcast. our Instagrams will be in the description and on the page. So yeah, thanks everybody for sticking out with us, and have a good time. Peace.
It's time and space, dude.